All right. Alrighty. So good morning, everybody. I am here to present my self-concept collage speech, where I really want to just tell you guys a little bit about who I am, uh, pretty much how I identify how I identify my place in society, uh, for my education, my cultural identity, and my personality as well in the following slides. So first, in society. In society, well, for starters, I'm a worker, a volunteer, and I'm also a student here at CSM. I work for the Red Cross inside the blood bank. I am a distribution technician. I pretty much just help get the blood out to the hospital so everybody gets their fair share. Besides that, I do volunteer on my own time without pay for the American Red Cross, as you can see in the image I have up on the top right is where I volunteered with the Red Cross in Oracle Park a few months ago. Besides that, in society, for example, I am the second youngest in my family. Uh, with my friends, the activities I like to do with my friends is I like to go out. I really like to just go and enjoy nature. For example, that's that picture up on the top left. I took that myself with my camera. I really like to use my own camera. For that kind of stuff. I like to practice photography, which is where the image on the bottom left comes in place. I really like to go out, uh, enjoy listening to music with my friends at these type of parties. I like to go and just take pictures as well. That's just kind of the person who I am. So for society, I feel like I am uh, I'm just o overall around contributing what I can to society, what I do, while still enjoying the time I have, with those close to me. Next slide is my education. For my education, I finished most of my school in Mexico when I moved over there, uh, around the age of 10. That's where I finished pretty much my last year of elementary school. I finished middle school and I finished high school. I put pictures on the left, because I went to an agricultural school. That's kind of where I get my interest for biology as well. Um, I went to an agricultural school. You can see me on one of the pictures on the top left, just watering the plants that we had for one of our school projects. On the bottom left, you can see me with my friends, preparing for like our graduation pictures. That's just a picture I had taken on my phone as well. Um, as far as my education goes, I feel like one of the most important figures that was really inspiring to me in that sense was my science teacher in that high school. His name was also Ricardo. Uh, really always just he would motivate. He was one of the few teachers that I've ever had or that I've ever seen in the Mexican school system over there that would motivate their students to learn more. And he was a fun teacher in that sense. Aside from that, right now I am currently enrolled in CSM, as well as everybody else is in this class, where I am currently studying to major in biology. Right now, I hope it all goes well. I'm putting in effort to do that. Besides that, some things that I do like to learn is photography. For the cultural identity section, I was born here in Redwood City, not too far from here in San Mateo, actually. Uh, about 24, almost 25 years ago now. Like I mentioned before, I moved to Mexico when I was younger, when I was about 10 years old. So my formative years were spent there, and that's really just become a very large part of who I am. Uh, this the Mexican identity in general. I got to experience the whole thing over there since I was younger, and it's a little bit different because I was born over here. So oddly enough, I also face a lot of discrimination. That's a whole other thing separately. Um, for these pictures here, these are just some pictures that I feel are very important to me. At the bottom left is a little altar for the Day of the Dead. I really have a deep connection with that holiday because that's the day we get to honor our relatives who have passed away. It's a way to remember them, uh, as presented by movies like Coco from Disney or The Book of Life. They're really good movies as well. The bottom right is, I believe, the El Palacio Nacional, the National Palace in Mexico. It's a nice place. I've been there. It's just nice. I prefer a lot more the statue of the Angel of Liberty. But yeah, the top right, I took that picture myself when I went to Mexico in December of 2023. The pyramids of Teotihuacan. It's a really beautiful sight. It's a really beautiful sight, and it really being there just felt completely different than being in the other places in Mexico. I don't know why. Maybe standing there in the place where history has just flown through before really gives you it really gives it gives a different feeling to the meaning of standing there, in my opinion. Other countries that I'm interested in really quick is I just really like Italy because of the classical architecture it has there, like the Fountain of Troy. The Colosseum is beautiful. I'd love to go to the Colosseum one day. And one more country would be Japan. I'd really like to visit places like Kyoto, Osaka, or Tokyo. At the bottom right is the Shibuya Scramble Crossing, I believe it's called. The, that specific area has been referenced in so many movies and so many forms of animation. I just think it's beautiful as well. I'd really love to go see it one day. And lastly, for personality, I feel like I am an ambivert, leaning more towards an introvert. Um, for the most part, I do like to be by myself, spend my time by myself, just go out and do things alone. But for the other part, there is that human need to socialize that I feel like everybody still has. Um, so I still like to go out and party with my friends and listen to music with them and do that kind of stuff, but not to the level that I like just hearing peace and quiet while being alone. I can get overwhelmed by many people talking at the same time. And for the last part, between passive and assertive, I feel I am in between both of those different areas. For the most part, I will just be apologetic. So I will be leaning more to passive, but when it's really necessary, if there's a situation that needs me to be assertive, I I take the reins in. I am assertive. I noticed on at the bottom right it also says like aggressive. I've known a lot of people like that, and that's just too much. They go beyond assertive. But yeah, and the last slide is basically just hyperlinks where I give credits to the images that I did not take myself. Uh, Overall, for the conclusion, in the end, I feel like for all these aspects, I'm kind of balanced. Um, for example, with my cultural identity, the way I grew up over here until the age of 10, and then I spent in Mexico about 9 years, nine, almost 10 years. Half of my life is split between Mexico and the United States. So the way I interact with people over here is it's very different to the way I interacted with people over there in Mexico. So I've gained a lot of experiences from both places on how to behave, how to act, how to interact with other people. Um, and that also just makes me look into myself and identify the way I behave, and therefore really just makes me see my place like in society. It makes me look back and think about the what I've learned from previous teachers who I've really had a connection with as well. It makes me really just feel that I might be from here, from the United States, but I really am just a lot from Mexico as well. I don't know. I feel like it's a very confusing ending to the speech. I'm trying not to cut it far past 5 or 6 minutes. I don't know how far I have gone right now. But yeah, that is just a little information about who I am. And I just want to say I feel like I've discovered a few more things about myself while doing this research into myself, this self-concept speech. Yeah. Well, that is pretty much it. Bye bye.